You conveniently forget all of that to paint this picture that all was rosy and hunky-dory. Nonsense. And then you are lording over the Queen. Listen, by all means, let's applaud the Queen when she does something right. But when she does something wrong, we need to call her out.
What does she do wrong? What does she do wrong?
What kind of grandmother? Let me finish. What kind of grandmother will be so close to her grandson, Harry, but then not use her power and influence as queen to protect them from the racist media coverage? What kind of grandmother will protect her own son, Prince Andrew, from the potential crime of raping a minor, but will do jack all to protect Harry and Meghan? Especially, I have no doubt that she would have heard about the suicidal thoughts and the help and support she needs. And then you sit there hammering on about how the royal institution is not racist. Are you out of your godforsaken mind?
No, you know what? I find what you're saying about the Queen actually disgraceful. I find what you're saying, you're entitled to your opinion, Shola. Sorry, no, I'm allowed to respond to what you've just said.
Is rooted, listen, you might learn something. The royal family as an institution is rooted in colonialism, white supremacy, and racism. The legacy is right there. So you're now surprised that a comment would have been made by several members of the royal family about how dark Archie's
skin is. It's not several members, actually. No, you can't spew lies.
More outraged that Harry and Meghan.
Are we allowed to engage in any of this?
Let me finish.
Well, you're not stopping.
That Harry and Meghan had the audacity to speak that truth than you should be at the actual outrage of racism.
Right, okay. Am I allowed to respond to this? Am I allowed to respond yet?
You can respond now.
Okay. I think what you just said about the Queen is disgusting. I think it's unbelievable. You talk about the behaviour of a 19...
Am I lying when I said that?
Allow me to say what I'm... Allow me to explain.
And the institution is protected.
Right. Allow me to defend our royal family, thank you.
You tell me.
Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from wherever you are watching from. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Daily Diaries Friday. I am your host, Mike. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you never miss a video. If you enjoy what you see, make sure you hit the like button, share it with your family and friends, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section because I love hearing from you. Stick around because today's video is going to be amazing. Let's dive right in. Dr. Shola's unwavering criticism of the British royal family's treatment of Meghan Markle has ignited a firestorm of debate and discussion. Her confrontational approach, exemplified by her televised exchange with Piers, has allowed her to forcefully defend Meghan and call out the systemic racism and harmful narratives that have been perpetuated by the monarchy and its supporters. Dr. Shola has been particularly vocal in lambasting royal biographers and commentators, whose inflammatory rhetoric, she believes, has fueled a toxic culture of hate directed at the Sussexes. Her fearless denouncement of a royal biographer's suggestion that the monarchy's future hinges on the obliteration of Meghan and Harry has further highlighted the urgent need to address the deep-seated issues of privilege and discrimination that she argues are deeply embedded within the institution of the British royal family. Dr. Shola's fiery exchange with Piers Morgan on national television encapsulated her unwavering defence of Meghan Markle and her scathing critique of the royal family's treatment of the Duchess. With a commanding presence and a razor-sharp intellect, Dr. Shola fearlessly confronted Morgan's dismissive attitude, accusing the royal institution of perpetuating harmful narratives that sought to diminish and discredit Meghan's experiences. She argued passionately that by labelling Meghan's claims as mere attention-seeking, the royal family and its supporters were only further entrenching the systemic racism and privilege that have long plagued the monarchy. Dr. Shola's unwavering stance and her refusal to back down in the face of Morgan's provocations have made her a leading voice in the ongoing discourse surrounding the royal family's handling of issues of race and marginalisation. Dr. Shola has not minced words in her scathing critique of the rhetoric used by royal biographers and commentators when discussing the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. She has accused them of fueling a toxic culture of hate and vitriol against Meghan and Harry, pointing to specific instances where the language employed was deeply problematic. For example, when one prominent royal biographer suggested that the very obliteration of the Sussexes was necessary for the monarchy's future, Dr. Shola lambasted such inflammatory rhetoric, arguing that it only serves to perpetuate the harmful narratives and systemic issues that have plagued Meghan's experience within the royal family. Rather than objectively analysing the situation, Dr. Shola believes these biographers and pundits have too often resorted to divisive and hostile language that actively works to discredit the Sussexes and undermine their valid concerns about racism and lack of support. Her impassioned defence of Meghan continues to shine a light on the deep-seated privilege and ingrained biases that she believes are entrenched within the institution of the British monarchy. Shola's unflinching stance on the systemic racism and privilege ingrained within the British royal family has once again sparked a fiery debate. Her vocal criticism of the institution's treatment of Meghan Markle and Prince Harry continues to shine a much-needed spotlight on these deeply rooted issues. Dr. Shola has fearlessly confronted royal commentators and biographers, calling out the harmful rhetoric that she believes has fueled a culture of hate against the Sussexes. Her unwavering defence of Meghan and refusal to let the monarchy's actions go unchallenged underscores her belief that these problems are far-reaching and must be addressed head-on. Through her impassioned remarks and confrontations, Dr. Shola persists in drawing attention to the broader systemic challenges that she argues are woven into the very fabric of the British royal family. Dr. Shola remains unwavering in her defence of Meghan Markle, openly condemning the royal family's failure to address the harmful rhetoric and systemic issues that have plagued the Duchess of Sussex. Her vocal criticism has sparked a fiery debate as she continues to challenge the monarchy's response to Meghan's claims of racism and mistreatment. Dr. Shola has fearlessly confronted public figures such as Piers, calling out their dismissive attitudes and highlighting the need for the royal family to take concrete actions to rectify the situation. She believes the institution has not done enough to stop the barrage of negative narratives surrounding Meghan, which she argues only perpetuates a culture of hate and intolerance. Furthermore, Dr. Shola has condemned the insensitive rhetoric used by royal biographers, who have suggested that the monarchy's future hinges on the obliteration of the Sussexes. Her unwavering stance has brought renewed attention to the deeply rooted issues of racism and privilege that she believes continue to shape the royal family's treatment of Meghan and Prince Harry. The controversy surrounding the British royal family's handling of issues related to Meghan Markle shows no signs of abating. Political commentator Dr. Shola's fiery remarks and confrontations have ignited a fierce debate, shining a spotlight on the prevalent concerns of racism and systemic problems within the monarchy. Her vocal criticism, particularly towards royal biographers and commentators, has amplified calls for the royal family to address these deeply entrenched issues more proactively. Dr. Shola has been relentless in her defence of Meghan, asserting that dismissing the Duchess of Sussex's claims as mere attention-seeking only perpetuates harmful narratives. She has also strongly condemned the rhetoric used by some royal commentators, such as the suggestion that the monarchy's future depends on the obliteration of the Sussexes, arguing that such language incites further vitriol that the royal family has failed to adequately address. The ongoing debate has laid bare the tensions and divisions surrounding the royal family's handling of these sensitive matters, with Dr. Shola's unwavering stance continuing to challenge the institution to confront its own biases and shortcomings in a more meaningful and substantive manner. Dr. Shola's critiques have shone a spotlight on the royal family's failure to adequately address the concerns raised by Meghan and Prince Harry. She believes the institution has not done enough to confront the underlying issues of racism and systemic bias that have shaped their treatment. By dismissing Meghan's claims as attention-seeking, Dr. Shola argues that the royal commentators have only perpetuated the harmful narratives that have plagued the Sussexes' experience. Furthermore, she has strongly condemned the rhetoric used by certain royal biographers, who have suggested the monarchy's future depends on the obliteration of Harry and Meghan, language that she sees as dangerously incendiary. Through her unwavering defence of the Sussexes and her calls for accountability, Dr. Shola continues to shine a light on the broader problems of privilege and discrimination that she believes remain deeply rooted within the monarchy. Dr. Shola's criticism of the royal family's treatment of Meghan Markle highlights the deeper systemic issues that have long plagued the institution. She believes these problems of racism and unearned privilege are not mere isolated incidents, but are in fact deeply ingrained within the very fabric of the monarchy. By confronting prominent figures like Piers and calling out the harmful rhetoric from royal commentators, Dr. Shola aims to shed light on the toxic culture that has allowed these discriminatory practices to persist. Her unwavering defense of Meghan and refusal to accept dismissive narratives sends a clear message. The royal family must reckon with its own shortcomings and enact meaningful change to address the structural inequities that threaten to undermine its legitimacy. As long as these systemic issues remain unresolved, the monarchy's future will continue to be called into question by those demanding accountability and justice. Dr. Shola's continued criticism of the royal family's treatment of Meghan Markle has kept the spotlight firmly fixed on the ongoing issues of racism and systemic prejudice within the monarchy. Her impassioned confrontations, such as with Piers have sparked further debate and discussion around these important topics, refusing to allow them to be swept under the rug or dismissed as mere attention-seeking. By boldly calling out the harmful rhetoric used by royal commentators and biographers, Dr. Shola has shone a light on the toxic culture that has all too often surrounded the Sussexes. Her refusal to back down in the face of attempts to marginalize or silence Meghan's experiences has been a critical voice in ensuring these vital conversations continue. Through her unwavering advocacy, Dr. Shola has ensured that the reckoning over racism and privilege within the royal institution remains an ongoing and unavoidable issue. Dr. Shola's scathing criticism of the royal family's handling of Meghan Markle has raised serious questions about the monarchy's ability to address the systemic problems of racism and privilege within its ranks. Her confrontational approach on national television has further intensified the ongoing controversy, which may have profound implications for the future of the centuries-old institution. As the public discourse continues to scrutinize the royal family's treatment of the Sussexes, the monarchy's long-term viability and relevance in modern society are being called into question. The calls for accountability and reform are growing louder, and the royal family must now grapple with the possibility of far-reaching changes to preserve its place in the British cultural landscape. Thanks for watching, Squaddies. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support means the world and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, take care and stay awesome.